Welcome to Toffee TV. Everton had their annual Dixies Awards yesterday. Slightly different version of the awards, Baz, which we'll speak out in a moment. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easier to find all the latest news, scores and stats in one place. To download the OneFootball app, click the link in the description. So, yeah, the new Dixies Awards, no public ceremony. No big St George's Hall extravaganza like there was in the past. No smaller, intimate occasion either. It was a little bit different. What did you think of the new format?
I thought it was good. I thought Everton put it together well. Obviously, they had Mark Chapman presenting it with Ozzy from the executive box with a view, not too dissimilar to this behind him. And then obviously ducking out to Finch Farm and things like that to give the awards out. So I thought, as far as it looked, I thought they put this show together quite nicely.
Do you think there's any reason why they've moved away from the typical annual awards? I mean, obviously they moved away from the more lavish style of St George's Hall. I don't know, maybe it was less cost effective to have it in a smaller place. Maybe it was they thought that it was more welcoming having
at the Philharmonic.
Yeah, having people be able to spend whatever it was on the tickets. And obviously this year they've gone for it was a vote, wasn't it? And just being able to have it so the players received the awards last week and they put out this sort of magazine style programme.
Yeah, I mean, each to their own. I wasn't a massive fan of, certainly at the Philharmonic. Some people loved it and I get that. Me personally, from my point of view, pretty pointless, I thought. So I think what they've done this year suited everyone. It's not. I think it's really difficult to do these kind of things because you almost feel like, or I do, when everyone gets together like that with the team, I feel like we should be celebrating something. But then obviously that would only ever then be decided as rush job because it'd be almost like, are we going to win something? Like we are, right, let's put this thing together, and people wouldn't have a lot of time to be able to get something together. So we understand the fundamentals behind it. It's really difficult. And the way you could potentially do that if you want something would be the start of the next season before anything's being kicked. You could have the place where you could give back the team, so to speak. Depends what you look at the awards as. I suppose when you break it down to what Everton have done, then yeah, why shouldn't they have these awards where people can go and enjoy them? Do you know what I mean? And I understand there'll be a section of fans who love it and who enjoy going and sitting there with the players while they got these awards, and that's absolutely fine. I don't know why they've changed it this year. Maybe because of the way things were last year. They just thought, let's just keep it in-house. We can control everything that goes on. And we can do this magazine style program, like you said, and have it online. And a lot of people watched it. A lot of people enjoyed it. I've caught up with it and had a look, and I thought it was put together really well. But I understand there'll be a lot of people out there who liked going to the awards. So, I know that there's a section of people who like going to St George's Hall with the black tie on and having a big meal and things like that. Obviously, that wasn't affordable for everybody, but there was a large number of people who could afford it and enjoyed it. So I suppose it just depends where you sit on. I mean, where do you sit on the awards things?
I didn't think that they should have had that at St George's Hall. For me, it was elitist for a start. For me, I'd actually have the awards take 15 minutes at the end of the game, last game of the season, and have them then. If you're going to have them.
Yes, to have the vote the week before. And
if you're going to have them. But this format was fine. There's a lot made of awards and things far too much when you think about it. if it's Everton giving the awards out, then you almost feel, well, just have your own little private thing, have your own meal and stuff. But I thought this was a good way to do it. Maybe, I don't know whether it's going to be a one-off or whether it's going to continue. Maybe that's something to look at this season. I know a lot they didn't really make a big thing of it last season, but they went ahead when the public mood wasn't really there. But like you said, it's hard to just chop and change whenever you want. It's hard to say what constitutes having an awards. I mean, for me, the way I look at it, it's about team awards, not personal awards. I mean,
but I suppose like when you played Sunday League or you play for your team, you always had like the end of the season player do, didn't you? You know, play.
Yeah, but that's for the players, isn't it? That's for the players.
And I don't know whether clubs do that as such.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I suppose this way, I think the way you just said there with on the pitch, say like they would have given Luca Dean that and just given the microphone while the crowd was still there and gone, you've been voted for, do you want to say a few words? He could have said like what he said to the camera, which is great what he said to the camera. He could have said it to the crowd and saying maybe Richarlison, and everyone would have been giving it all that. And then they've got the stuff. I don't know whether
everything just becomes a commercial venture now, doesn't it? That's what we've seen recently. We've booked.
Is this a commercial venture?
No, that's what I'm saying. We've booked the trend a little bit by going against that.
But I think for people like young Alfie, I think it would have been lovely for him to be invited to the game.
We'll go through the awards.
And
we'll go through the awards in a moment.
Yeah,
for some of the awards, it would be nice to get recognition in front of fans. And if if the last game of the season, okay, wasn't great timing this year, but it'd be good if you just had that last game of the season.
But some of them could have got like Sir Alfie could have been given it at half time, couldn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
The players could have got it at the end. Someone could have got it at like
ladies team could have got
to 8.
Ladies team could have got it. 23s could have got it, although they couldn't have got it in our last home game because of the cup semi-final. But at the same time, it's they still could have just been announced. And yeah, I mean, this was an interesting one. Let's go through it then. So,
well, let's just say before we do that, the way Everton put it together was really good. Nice and polished, and it did flow. So I think Mark Chapman's brilliant anyway. He's got that nice balance between the presenter but also being relaxed enough to have a bit of a laugh, and also he's a good talker. So I thought if it was going to be a magazine style, I thought the club did a really good job with it, with what it contained, because they had bits of goals and stuff from the season as well. So I thought it was good what they did, but maybe to involve the crowd a bit more, just do it at the final home game. Have the vote a little bit earlier and do it. But anyway.
So the play of the season, Luca Dean, any arguments?
No, not at all. Won it at a canter for me. Was won in about February, in my opinion. Garner was outstanding for the last few months, but Luca Dean was outstanding. Virtually every game he played, he was excellent. To me, so many games went by. If I was still doing the ratings, he'd have had about 25 man of the matches, because for so many games, he was just better than any of our players. So he's had a fantastic season. Coming in, replacing a player who I absolutely love, and was like last summer thinking, I hope we get Kieran Tierney, because he might grow into Baines' role, and he looks like a good attacking player, but I still love Baines. This kid's come in, and we were like, okay, and we were there for the Valencia game, and he come on at half time. We were like, yeah, he looks all right. But not that day, when we watched him, did I think he will progress into what he is today for us. And he's just, ever since he got in, Huddersfield at home, I think it was. It was just the week after Baines, he's pushing, thingy for the penalty, wasn't it? So Luca was in the week later, and ever since he's been in then, had an assist that day as well, of course. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's had a couple of wobbles, he didn't have a great game against West Ham at home. And the odd game here and there, but in general, absolutely fantastic display all season. To make you even forget about Leighton, which is a big thing, I think.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, hasn't he? But you have to check out the video when we do go through my player ratings for the season to find out. But no, I thought in terms, he has been the all-round player this season. He's just, and especially with it being his first season, and the expectations. Well, there weren't any expectations on him, and I suppose that's what makes it even better. You bring a player in, they settle in so quickly, and he's been.
Did you think Baines would play more this season? No, when Luca came in, did you? Because I think I probably did.
I don't know. It's a difficult one because, you know, not knowing loads about him and him not playing loads of football.
I just think when he come in, it was a bit like, this is all right. This lad's a boss. He's got like a nice left foot. He'll push Baines all the way. Obviously, after a few weeks, I was like, Baines ain't getting back in this side here. But I just think, you know, when he came, did we think that he would replace Baines as quickly as he has? We probably didn't, did we?
No, don't think so. I don't think so. But he has, and it's
but isn't that
a testament to him?
I was going to say it, but isn't that also a testament to something that's not always in your line of sight can be just as good or better than ones that are in your line of sight? I remember me and you sitting there going, I hope we get that Tierney, because we were strongly linked with him. And this kid's come in for something like almost £20 million cheaper than what Celtic wanted for Tierney in the end. And I don't think Kieran Tierney would have had the same impact as what Luca Dean is. Not saying he's not a very good footballer, because he is, but I don't think he'd have done what Luca's done this season.
No, he's been outstanding. So he got played this season. He always shared players play this season with Garner Gay. And I think that's an interesting one as well, isn't it? Because that shows you how much the players appreciate Garner and how much, you know, he helps the team and how pivotal he is to the side. So he shared that, so a lot of love for both of the players. And I suppose it's only right that Garner got something like that, and especially it's probably better for him, for the players, because he is one of those players that, I don't know, not necessarily now, but in the old days, maybe you would have gone a little bit unloved at times. But, I mean, now we have a bigger sort of picture of football, see it from all angles, have all the stats and everything. It's easier to sit down and say what he actually does. So I'm glad the players have shown that, because doesn't score loads of goals, doesn't make loads of goals, and then
didn't score a single goal.
No, so therefore people look at it and go, what does he actually do? And well, he does a lot. He does all the stuff so everyone else can do all that.
I think the thing with Garner is, and the thing with this vote, if this vote would have been like the RPFA one, I don't think Garner would have been close to it in January. But the way he's finished the season, absolutely magnificent. And you're right, he does all the stuff that other people don't do, and the way he presses and gets about the pitch, at times, under Koeman's say, he was brilliant. When he first came in, till he went to the African nations, he was incredible. And then at times last season, he left his position too much, so he was actually damaging us at times, because the team weren't set up to be the way he is, because not everybody press. So it's like, if you go and press and then you leave a gap up, your mate doesn't, and they just play around you. There was holes, and I remember the biggest example was Anfield under Koeman, when we got beat 3-1 when Pennington scored. Him and Davis started pressing, and Liverpool just played around us because nobody else around them were doing the same job. So there was just big gaps. Because of the way Marco set this team up, it just complements Garner, and you've seen that now, so much so that when Sneijderlin's coming, Garner's actually playing a bit more. He's taking the ball forward, still gives it away sometimes, but if he does remain here, and we don't know whether he will, but if he does stay for next season, I'd like to see him develop a little bit more edge of the box, get a few more shots away. You know, if you've got some insurance behind it. But we said it loads of times on the show that since the PSG thing fell through, he's shown you exactly how a professional should behave, and it's not spit your dummy out and go full Van Dijk and refuse to play and all that. It's get your head down and play twice as good as you were before. And then if he gets his move, we'll all be a bit disappointed, because he's been such a big player for us. But you can't then say, well, you didn't. You can just say, mate, you were nearly man of the match most weeks after that. So, you know. So just fully justified.
Fantastic for him and Luca Dean. The Everton giant went to David Unsworth.
He's a big lad. He is a big lad.
So that. You know, he was really proud of that. Obviously, second under 23s Premier League 2 in the space of 3 years. So, and obviously done the double as well this year. So he's obviously massively proud of winning that award.
Listen, being at Everton since he was 13. I know he's had the little spell away when he went to West Ham and then obviously Wigan and Portsmouth later on.
Villa for a week.
Villa for a week, yeah. But since he's come back to the club, we've had the pleasure of sitting down with him quite a few times now and having a chat with him. He's done interviews and even away from the camera and stuff. He's just a great fella, isn't he? And he loves Everton. He's Everton through and through. And I think if he was to leave Everton and go and manage someone, his aim would be to get back and be Everton's manager. That's how ingrained the club is in him. And when we spoke to the likes of Morgan Feeney, you know, your love child, when we spoke to the likes of Morgan and you're talking to him about the home is where the heart is thing, and it's like, well, Umsy drilled us into it when we were 14, 15, communities, and it's them, the right kind of messages that are given to these young players. And, you know, so for me, Unsworth is more than a worthy winner of it, and he looked delighted. And listen, you know, you can get these awards and be like, oh, thanks, hey, it's great, but if you haven't watched it, just go and watch his reaction when he gets it, and when the camera pulls away and other stuff's going on, he's looking at it and he's like, you know, like he can't believe he's got it. And I just think, for me, you know, thoroughly deserved, and he's done a fantastic job. Whatever else happens, I seen someone saying something the other day, like, he hasn't done a great job because we haven't got 5 players into the first team. Well, he can only work with what he's got and develop players as far as they go. But what I would say to that is probably a lot of this under-23 side will be footballers. It doesn't matter what level. You know, lovely if the Premier League footballers, but if they make a living out the game, then he's done his job, hasn't he? Because he's trying to give lads a chance.
Look at every generation. There's not like loads come through, is there? Do you know what I mean? No. You look at like '84 when we won the like the youth club, and when we've won reserve titles before. It's not like loads of players come through. It just doesn't happen like that. It's just you're trying to create footballers for all levels of football, and then maybe you might get that one or that two. And who's to say that one or two doesn't, you know, or even some of them don't go away. Look at we had Baines, we had Jagielka. They had to go away and then they came back, and we got the benefit of that. It cost us a few million quid, but that's just the way it is. So delighted for David Unsworth. Chairman's Blue Blood Award, which basically means somebody who on the pitch encapsulates what it is to be an Evertonian, I suppose. You know, shows the qualities that the chairman believes people previously have won it. The likes of Tim Cahill, the likes of Tim Howard, people who aren't necessarily Evertonians but come into the club and start showing the things you need to be and to do. And that went to Michael Keane, and obviously Bill Kenwright lavished a lot of praise on him. You know, said he'd been through tough times, but this season had said, you know, you're on your way to being up there with like Labby, which, I mean, he's got a long way. But what he did say, you know, that is the highest thing I can say. I think he says that in not necessarily about the way he plays, but the way he carries himself, and he's got a quiet demeanour about himself, and you know, very rarely gets booked or sent off or anything like that as well. All plays his part in that. So obviously the chairman very impressed with Michael Keane, who's been one if not the most improved players this season.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, and again, you know, thoroughly deserved that award that, you know, the chairman spoke about off the pitch as well. And you're right, carrying himself, and last season, you know, and it's still fresh in my mind, me defending him in August and you and Sarah giving him a kicking. No, but in all seriousness, he had a tough season last season, but there was also mitigating circumstances why he had a tough season last season, you know, and he came from Burnley, and people forget this. Liverpool wanted him, Manchester United wanted him, and he come to Everton, right? Now, I'm not saying he'd have started every week for Liverpool or he'd have started every week for United, but he come to Everton, and he made his mind up early, he wanted to come to Everton, and he came in, and we were all, oh yeah, this is great, and he started off all right, and then obviously had the injury, and he was playing next to Ashley Williams, and he was playing with a boot 2 sizes too big for him because his foot was that swollen, trying to get results for Koeman. You know, he was on painkillers and things at Southampton, he was hallucinating, and so he had a terrible time. He had a terrible time, and then he come back in, and he was he was all right. Some games he wasn't great, other games he looked better. We got to the summer, Marco coming. I think Marco Silva is probably what he needed. Someone who'd put his arm around him and go, you are a good defender, get back to doing what you're doing. And he's got his head down this season. You know what? A lot of people were looking and going, he'll be Mina and Zuma. They'll be the two. And Keane's been the mainstay all season. And he's been absolutely brilliant. In fact, we lost to Fulham. It was the game he should have played. He kept Jackson. Keane didn't play. You know, I know he was on the pitch for the Newcastle game, but 1 defeat in the last 10 with Michael Keane in the side. We've had the most clean sheets when Keane's played. And I think his passing ability is fantastic as well. He's had the most clearances. He's won the most aerial duels by absolute miles. I think he's the second highest passer of the ball in our team with just under 1,600 passes. Yeah. So he's on the ball a lot for a centre-back. But I think all of that, listen, we're amongst friends here, aren't we? He made the tackle that cost Liverpool the league, that's all I'm saying on Mo Salah. But I think he's been brilliant, and I understand now. I heard Dave Watson, if he's got, I don't know whether he's ever been given the award, I don't think he has, but he is an Everton giant, Dave Watson, because he was incredible for us, saying Michael Keane could be an Everton, you know, a proper Everton centre-back led. He's a good comparison, Dave Watson, isn't he? He really is a good.
I think. And if we're patting ourselves on the back,
go on.
I think, you know, I had previously said that maybe he needed not to be next to someone like an Ashley Williams or a Phil Jagielka who almost dominated him, and he needed to become his own man. And I thought, you know, maybe putting the captain armband around him could be one of the things that could help him. Yeah. And okay, that hasn't happened, but I do think that him having to be the leader in that defence has brought that little bit extra out on him. You know, he wasn't like an alpha, but he had to almost become.
Do you think
that.
Like he's developed into that though?
I think quietly. Better. I think quietly he is. I think quietly he is. I'm not. I don't think he's ever going to be that ranting and raving.
No.
But he might be a bit like Jags, the organiser, but he's a good defender as well. But I do find that sometimes, and I think I've said this before, players who play next to somebody else who have been the leader in that back four, when I say the leader, the person who tells people to step up and tells people to hold the line and all those things, when there's someone else talking to them, it doesn't work the same. They have to be the person that goes through with it. And maybe with Keane becoming that person, that might have kicked them on a little bit. Almost just being the dominant one, playing on his side as well, playing on his side of the defence, all those little things that help him. The manager saying to you, no, I don't just want you to defend, I want you to play football. That keeps you switched on as well then. You know, he's had odd little mistakes, but I do think he's gone from being the person that you go, he has got a mistake in him, to going, you know, that I'm surprised by that, you know, that he has made a mistake. So I think he's really come on during the season.
I think even, you know, you sort of feel, and you remember the Arsenal game when he walked out and Jags was playing, everyone was like, where's Keane? People were like a bit concerned he wasn't playing. So that's a big, I think that's a big indicator. And Jags was fantastic that day and scored, obviously, but people were a bit, you know, and we all said he needs to be back in now. Jags done great against, you know. So I think he's done really well, and if he can build on it, I think he can be one of those defenders that you can rely on.
I think he also gets unsettled by changing and messing around. So when we played Newcastle, we went to 3 at the back. I think that unsettled him. I think there's little things like that that
he needs to work.
That he still needs to. But when it's a flat back four, and certainly when he had Kurt Zouma next, somebody built that relationship. He looked, you know, every little bit of the player that we paid that money for. So
back in the England team.
Yeah. So he's got a lot to. Now you've got obviously him getting linked with Arsenal and Tottenham and people like that. You know, and then I mean there's the compliment right there, isn't it? You know, when you start getting those kind of.
You don't need to worry about the likes.
No,
I'm not saying people are, but especially not Arsenal. Arsenal aren't a step up. But he received it very humbly, and he looked, you know, I don't know whether you've seen the thing where he walks in, and they're all sat down the table and he walks. I don't know whether they're thinking,
sit down, Michael.
Yeah, what's going on here? But he always looks like he's dead unassuming, you see, so he goes in and sits, and you're like, but he was made up, and he obviously said to Bill Kenwright, you know, he's very honest in it, and was like, you know, I didn't have a good time last season, and I'm like, you know, thanks for texting me and keeping me head up. And Bill Kenwright was like, you know, you were struggling. I mean, Bill was getting them as well. Like, you were struggling last year, even though we paid a lot of money for you. But now he seemed genuinely made up with the award, so it's
good.
Fantastic.
Young Player of the Year, Richarlison.
Yeah.
Now, what I really like about this one is, I think in years by, we've had someone who's won Young Player of the Year, and they've shown flashes, you know, bits and pieces during the season that you can go, looks a good player, and he's going to be a good player, that kind of thing. This season, got a player who has done it all season.
Could have won Player of the Year.
Could have won Player of the Year if he showed maybe a little bit more consistency. But a player that you look at, it goes, he's made a massive impact on the pitch, scored goals, played in three different forward positions, works hard, fights. You know, at times he's had had a couple of sulks, but sound. Represents the club really well, has a little bit of a laugh, gets involved with the fans on social media.
Destroys Paul Mason.
A little dig at Paul Mason. All good things. So it's really promising that you look at it and go, yes, that's what we want. We want young players to be showing it. It's not just potential, they're doing it on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not young player who's just out the 23s and has been sub a few times. Oh yeah, this is a kid who's in our first team and one of the first names on the sheet. He's been brilliant all season. Okay, he did have a little dip. Only to be expected. He's 21. 22, sorry, last week, wasn't he? Been great, you know, his second season in England, you know, out of Brazil. He had a big move in the summer. He's come here, you know, our fans are more demanding than the inflatable snakes. Loves Marco Silva. You know, we said that before. And loves the fans, which is basically what he said when he received his award from Marcel Brands. But been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant, and he's a player who you look at and think, okay, he's got 14 goals in all competitions this season, but next season I can see him getting 20 because he's always in the right place at the right time. If you watch him, wherever he plays, he gets in the right areas. I think when he plays through the middle, he's a threat. But I think his strengths are being, at the moment anyway, being a wide striker. He doesn't hold the ball up very well for a centre forward. He's someone who can play on the shoulder, and when he had that little spell, he was really good. But I think then it kind of petered out because we needed him to keep it, and we weren't getting the same output off the person who was either side of him. I think when he goes wide, he's a wide striker that can get you 15, 20 goals. You know, we've seen Liverpool and Man City set the example with those kind of players of having three lads up front who all get you goals. Well, it's outstanding for us that we've got a kid there on the right who can get us 20 goals, I think, next season from that wide area. So I think he's been magnificent, you know, and for what 29 million the initial outlay. You know, no, it'll rise to 40 or whatever, but absolutely brilliant. And if he keeps going like that, then, you know, not yet, but in a couple of years, we might have a fight on our hands to keep him. And if it is, it'll be for big, big money. So,
at a top club.
Exactly. So that's what you do. Or if not, he'll be elevating us into those echelons. So more like that, please, this summer.
Yeah. Goal of the season, Gylfi Sigurdsson against Leicester City. You agree?
Yeah. Listen, we've scored some crackers this season. We have, you know, me and you done a video the other week, a little bit tongue-in-cheek about Richarlison's scissor kick, which was brilliant, and you know, Gylfi scored an absolutely fantastic goal in that day, and Luca Dean scored a couple of special ones. I mean, the United goal alone was fantastic, and I loved as a team goal, the goal we scored against Brighton at home. The first one when we broke. But that, you know, that goal, the technique, the ability to just receive it and just send Maddison the shot, and then out of his foot, the instep right into the top corner, and it was the winner. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Andre Gomez's goal against Wolves was a worldie, but it just gets put away now because we lost. It's like, oh yeah, gets put away. But Sigurdsson, I mean, marvellous goal. There's no, for me, there was, you know, it was the comfortable winner. Yeah, definitely for me. It was just an iconic goal. Really was. Just everything about it. He scored some brilliant goals. As I've said this to you before, there's one at Southampton last year. They, you know, 17-18, got beat 4-1. It was a bit like Gomez's one. It was a brilliant goal, but you just kind of go, we lost though. But
put it in a compilation. Dead quick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, it's like a really iconic goal because
Yeah.
it's got that.
That white kit that we didn't
Yeah.
lose a Premier League game.
It's got that sort of, when you watch it from start to finish, everything is great about it. There's not, doesn't bounce off someone.
You know what I love about it? Kurt Zouma got an assist for it.
There you go.
And he passed it on the halfway.
There you go.
But no, you're right. It was a brilliant goal, and that day was like, the momentum. It felt like the momentum was. I mean, the momentum didn't last, but it felt like it was building. But no, it was an absolutely brilliant goal.
Yeah. More of them. The Howard Kendall Award went to the Everton under-23s, second title in 3 years, and obviously done the double. The under-23s player of the season was Nathan Broadhead.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he's not necessarily a name that stands out when you think of like the under-23. I know he's had good spells, but maybe people who watch them, every minute of them, which obviously David Unsworth gave him it, so he will have. But some of the other players that you see who scored the goals, or the likes of Feeney or Basta Sambu seems to be scoring a lot of goals. Josh Bowler, Lewis Gibson gets talked up. Virginia has had a good season in goal, but obviously he's gone for Nathan Broadhead. So
he scored goals, and he scored important goals, hasn't he? On the VT it showed his goal at Anfield when we won 2-0. He scored some important goals, and I know they like him because he works. He's very, very hard worker. So you're right, people who watch him all the time would be able to say to you, yeah, he's, he does this and he does that, and he's got this about him and that. And they're the best people to pick the award is the management and coaching staff who see him every single day.
The Everton ladies player this season is Simone McGill, the Northern Ireland international. I'm sure Sarah
would be
all about award-winning Sarah Halpin can give you all the details on her channel. I'm sure she'll be doing something there. The bird is blue. Fan of the year went to Alfie, young Alfie, who's part of Alfie Squad, a fundraising campaign to develop a child-focused area in the club's proposed People's Place mental health facility. So that's brilliant. Again, something that, you know what we're always talking about. We're always demonising social media and all the things, but this kid, you've seen all those videos of him on social media and turning up at things with the likes of Alan Myers and Kevin Campbell and doing stuff on social media which the club get notice of, and the next minute, he's winning awards and it's boss. It's what the club's all about.
Yeah, I mean, as a young boy, what a child he is, what a kid he is. To have that strength of, obviously losing his dad last year and somehow turning it into a positive to bring people together, and everything he's done has been absolutely amazing and deserves everything he gets. And it's great that,
See, that is, like you said before, that is an award where you want to get them on the pitch in front of people. That
to me, I mean, and we know the club watches, so I mean, what I'd be doing there is that I'd be getting presented at the first home game next season to him, because, listen, we need more young people like that who pick up the baton, because I mean, how unbelievable.
And this is another award that should have been presented on the pitch as well. At half time in the last game of the season, the People's Club Award. It went to Henry Mooney, who he retires at the end of the month from Everton. He's been there for 12 years. He's been the Everton's community engagement officer. Does all kinds of work. Works with the under-23s, and he's Pat van den Houw's boss. He's done all kinds, and he's brilliant. If you've watched the show we did with him on here, he's absolutely brilliant. Very, very passionate Evertonian. As a man, he's got a brilliant history himself. Some of the things he's done, the jobs he's done. He used to be coach of a inner city basketball team, the Toxteth Tigers, that ended up being Everton's basketball team. He's a fantastic fella, and he's going to retire to the sun in a month. And fantastic that he's been recognised for all the work he does.
Yeah, he's a great fella. We spent some time with him on last Friday night, didn't we? And was brilliant fella, brilliant guest, great talker. You've got to try and coax the conversation out of him.
Oh yeah.
No, he's a great, and listen, you're right, that should have been done, because obviously he's going. I hope the club invite him back over at some stage to present him with that now that, you know, the opportunity to give him the Burnley game has gone. It'd be nice for him to come back over and receive it on the pitch, because I think he's leaving a legacy as well with Everton in the community, because he's very, very involved in the dementia work that they do, and you know, obviously for all the people who are suffering with dementia, but he's a key person for their carers, which sometimes is forgotten. You look at someone and go, "Oh, they've got dementia," but you don't necessarily look at the person who's with them and go, "How are they coping?" And he's put this stuff on.
He's a fella as well, though. He's like crosses over. He's like the club and Everton in the community. Does stuff with the under-23s, and I like the fact that, you know, he works with like the under-23s and helping them. And because he's someone who would bring a player back down to earth, you know, if they're getting above a station,
messing,
you know. And he works with, what he also works with is, you know, the likes of Pathfinder now. He worked with Jose Baxter. He said Michael Branch has just started there as well. And these are people who used to play for the club, maybe have hit hard times in one way or another, are looking for some support, looking for a start of a new life, and he's helping provide that. And it's, you know, when you're in his company, he doesn't mess about. Like
he's also very, you could understand how he picks people up.
Oh yeah,
he's just straight down. You know, when if you're in knobhead, he'll call you it. And
but he's also someone who's worked, you know, in real life, worked, you know, in community settings that really
different. He's got a big background.
Exactly.
He's a postman for years as well. And
no, he's a fireman.
Fireman. Loved shorts. With shorts.
Yeah, he was a fireman at the airport.
Yeah, so
for years.
Listen, he's got all of that background and all of that ground, and he's been
great fella.
Fantastic.
He's got a golf day coming up as well.
He has into
yeah,
over the water. Yeah,
so he'll want us plugging because he will.
No, listen. Very well
top
earned.
Fella.
Very well
top
earned.
Fella.
And he's be helping the 23s out at La Manga.
Yeah.
It's not far from where he lives, so he'll be doing a bit there.
There you have it. They're all the awards from last night. Let us know your thoughts. Any alternatives in there? Let us know. Did you like the style? Do you want it to go back to the way it was last year? Do you want it to go back to when it was in St George's Hall and you know, black tie events and all that? I'm sure there's a few out there who do, because a few people love getting dressed up.
Yeah, but that's fine. I just wonder if the players like this one better.
Yeah.
Because they generally like to finish and get off, don't they?
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of them already. I've seen Andre Gomez going home my last day here before I go to enjoy my summer off or something in Liverpool, like pitches in Liverpool.
Yeah, and where he was,
in Manchester.
Where he was is...
You're not allowed to be there.
No, you are, but yeah. I don't. Yeah, no. It's basically where a lot of homeless people live. So I don't know whether he was doing.
Well, that's why makes it going to.
I don't know.
Take a tray full of costas.
Maybe he was. I'm just saying it where it was. It's like it's like yeah. I was very surprised to see him.
Lovely backdrop.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. So there you go. End of the
Dixies.
End of the season. It's officially like.
Upon us.
It is, officially. There you go. The awards have been given out. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Just on anything, essentially. On anything. Give this video a like. It does help. Thumbs up. It helps the channel. It really does. It tells YouTube that you like this channel, and other people might like it as well, and it'll send them. If you want more videos, join us on Patreon, because there's loads going on. Live videos that you can get involved in. We all love live videos. We love that interaction. You'd love now to be screaming. You're screaming through the screen at us. When we do it live, you can get your thoughts in the comments and we can read them out. Who doesn't like that? That's over on Patreon. Check it out. You'll need it in the summer. You'll need it. You'll need to remember Club Call. We're the anti-club call. The anti-club call.
Yeah, it doesn't cost
you
£17 for the
exactly. Well, it costs you £3 a month. You're on Patreon, but that's
even the cost of a pint.
It's not.
Mate, go
to Hilton.
Go to Hilton.
Cost of a Coke.
Coke's
honest to God.
£4.80.
Took a mortgage out on Friday night.
Scandalous.
Get back to Devonshire, Ronnie. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.